Dominik Mysterio confirms his rib injuries were real. I wasn't faking it. Dominik Mysterio recently joined the Club 520 podcast for a candid, in-depth conversation about his journey in professional wrestling, life in WWE, and the highs and lows of being part of one of the industry's most prominent factions, the Judgment Day. The current WWE Intercontinental Champion opened up about several topics, including injuries he's endured in the ring, the skepticism he has faced from fans and critics, and the challenges of evolving as a performer in front of millions of viewers. One of the central points of discussion was a recent rib injury that Dominik sustained. For some time, there have been rumors and speculation suggesting that he might have been exaggerating or even faking the injury for storyline purposes. However, Dominik made it very clear that the injury was real and far from minor. I dislocated my 2 lower ribs, and they were digging into my cartilage. So that was why I was actually hurt. Everyone thought I was faking it, but I was actually hurt, he explained. He further noted that while the injury was legitimate, WWE creatively worked it into storylines, allowing him to remain visible on television despite the physical limitations the injury imposed. This candid acknowledgement shed light on the fine balance wrestlers often have to strike between maintaining kayfabe, staying on TV, and protecting their own health. Dominik also reflected on a particularly harrowing moment from earlier in his career, during his first match as a heel in WWE. The match, which took place against Edge on the September 12, 2022 episode of WWE Raw, was a defining moment for him, marking a significant shift in his character's trajectory. However, what many viewers did not realize at the time was that Dominik was seriously injured during the match. He recounted, "My first match as a bad guy, I wrestled Edge Adam Copeland, and I did a frog splash and I cracked my rib and it punctured a lung. Despite the severity of the injury, Dominik pushed through the match. I finished the match, and then I just remember not being able to catch my breath. I told the doctor, no, I'm good. I went back to the locker room, and 10 minutes later, I was like, I still can't breathe. I was like, this ain't right." The gravity of the situation became immediately apparent once he sought further medical attention. At the hospital, doctors confirmed that he had suffered a pneumothorax, a serious condition in which air enters the space between the lung and chest wall, and he was warned he could not fly home. This revelation highlighted the physical risks that professional wrestlers routinely face. Dominik's willingness to continue performing despite such a significant injury demonstrated both his commitment to the craft and the pressures wrestlers experience when performing live. The incident also underscored the harsh reality that fans and even casual observers may not always be aware of the true physical toll wrestling exacts, especially when storylines and character development take precedence over personal safety. Throughout the interview, Dominik shared insights into the constant challenges of maintaining peak performance while managing injuries and navigating the complex dynamics of WWE storytelling. He touched upon how wrestlers must frequently integrate real-life incidents, like injuries, into ongoing narratives in ways that feel organic to the audience while still allowing them to recover and avoid further harm. This balancing act is something Dominik has learned to manage over the course of his career, particularly as he has grown into more prominent roles within the company and assumed greater responsibility for carrying storylines. His conversation also explored the evolution of his character within WWE, particularly his transition into a heel persona and his subsequent involvement with the Judgment Day. Joining the faction brought new expectations and increased visibility, but also intensified scrutiny from fans and peers alike. Dominik acknowledged that performing as a villain required adjusting both his in-ring style and his approach to storytelling. He emphasized that injuries, while challenging, often provide opportunities for creative storytelling that can strengthen a character's depth and relatability. Dominik's openness about his injuries also allowed him to address a broader issue within the wrestling world: the tendency for outsiders to assume that wrestlers exaggerate or fabricate pain for entertainment purposes. He candidly described the frustration of dealing with skepticism from the audience, even as he endured significant physical challenges. By sharing the reality of his rib dislocation and lung puncture, he hoped to illuminate the truth behind what fans see on television and provide a better understanding of the sacrifices wrestlers make to perform at a high level. In addition to discussing injuries, the podcast covered Dominik's broader perspective on professional wrestling, including the mental and emotional demands of the sport. He spoke about the intense preparation required for matches, the constant need to stay in peak physical condition, and the careful coordination involved in executing moves safely, especially when working with high-profile opponents like Edge. Each match is a delicate blend of athleticism, timing, and storytelling, and even a single misstep can have serious consequences. Dominik's experiences illustrate that while fans may focus on the spectacle and entertainment, wrestlers contend with very real risks every time they step into the ring. Throughout the discussion, Dominik also reflected on the importance of resilience and determination in wrestling. Recovering from injuries like a cracked rib or a punctured lung requires not only physical rehabilitation, but also mental fortitude. Dominik emphasized that the ability to push through pain, remain focused on performance, and adapt to changing circumstances is a key part of what separates successful professional wrestlers from others. His story serves as a reminder that the life of a wrestler extends far beyond what is visible on screen. It is a career defined by dedication, perseverance, and a willingness to confront adversity head-on. Moreover, his interview highlighted the unique nature of WWE's approach to storytelling, where real-life injuries could be incorporated into ongoing narratives in a way that keeps fans engaged while protecting performers' health. Dominik's rib injuries, both the recent incident and the one during his heel debut, illustrate this dynamic perfectly. By transforming legitimate setbacks into storylines, WWE provides a platform for wrestlers to maintain visibility and continue developing their characters, even when they are physically limited. Ultimately, Dominik's appearance on the Club 520 podcast offered fans an unfiltered look at the challenges and realities of life as a professional wrestler. His willingness to openly discuss injuries, character development, and the intersection between real-life adversity and scripted storytelling offered valuable insight into a world that many fans admire but rarely fully understand. From his dramatic debut as a heel against Edge to managing his most recent rib injury, Dominik has consistently demonstrated courage, resilience, and a commitment to his craft that goes far beyond what is captured on television. By sharing these experiences, Dominik Mysterio not only shed light on the physical demands of professional wrestling, his willingness to openly discuss injuries, character development, and the intersection between real-life adversity and scripted storytelling offered valuable insight into a world that many fans admire but rarely fully understand. From his dramatic debut as a heel against Edge to managing his most recent rib injury, Dominik has consistently demonstrated courage, resilience, and a commitment to his craft that goes far beyond what is captured on television. By sharing these experiences, Dominik Mysterio not only shed light on the physical demands of professional wrestling.
If you love your father, then subscribe the channel, and those who love me show your love by liking and subscribing.